pretty good.
Well, I'll practice some more with it this year. Like I said, I want to learn how to do it with, rub two sticks together, do the bow drill.
I'll give you a little hint. Don't go down the road because that's ordinary rock. But if he plows and puts corn in it, the ground's all bare. Walk around down here, and on there's a little hump down there where I used to get some arrowheads, and there might be some flint there, and you might find a piece that big that's really thin, and that's the best.
I noticed 2 years ago, 2 springs ago, when they put in that the drainage pipes.
Yeah.
They dug up a bunch of rocks along there, and I was just gonna go grab them, use them for a fire pit, or to line a permanent fire pit down there. But shoot, there might have been some flint in there.
What you'll see around here is mostly what you got. Once in a while, there's a place where they've traded for some that's from southern Illinois or northern Illinois, where it's either blue or gray.
And I've seen that darker stuff, but yeah, everything around here is the whiter, or the lighter.
Because you go out here, one city out here, and go through, and there's one farm there. We got on it one time, and it was a village site. It was a mining site for Flint. In his fields, when he plowed them, a lot of times he'd have a row of flint that wide and that high for the plow, because they'd mined it there.
Right on.
And dug in the hillside, and he'd let you in, and then another guy got in, he didn't want nobody. I said, hell, they come off the farm. All I want is to get some of this flint that they've half worked. I said, there's probably arrowheads for you guys. I ain't after the arrowheads. I said, I've never been on a mining site for flint.
Yeah.
And I said, they have it in southern Illinois. In southern Illinois, it's dark blue. And then they're right in the edge of St. Louis. There's a spot they found that's old white flint. And man, some of the arrowheads they found, the spear points, hell, the spear points is that wide and that long.
Well, I've seen your collection. You got a good collection of.
Well, fair. And
but most of that came from around here, though, right?
well, yeah. And then I've got some I'm gonna give some friends of mine that used to do archaeology with them. I'm gonna give them because they're getting up in age like me, and
Didn't you say that one, like your biggest spear point when you found it, it was broken 3 pieces, though?
4 pieces.
Right.
Right here. Well, the edge of the field there, right, the corner edge of the field, you come back this way, halfway, there was 2 gates there, way back. One gate for the field and one gate for the place for the cows and stuff to roam. And in between that, every time it rained, there'd be a piece of flint. And when I got the second one, I looked, well, hell, that's got to be from a bigger piece, because both of them look so similar. See, now, they wouldn't fit. They did when I got the other 2 pieces. Finally, I got 4 pieces. It took the whole summer. But I got 4 pieces glued together, and that baby's a knife that long.
Right.
And then I went down the hill. Here's another place I found a few. If he puts corn in again, he might not. But see where the creek, see where the water runs down the waterway?
Yeah.
Well, it hit all them humps up there. And I even found one here over on this side. It was pretty bad shape up that long arrowhead. So they was in this area. And the reason is they pick a place that's higher than any other, because remember, you had grass growing in this country higher than this ceiling.
Yeah.
And some of it around certain places 11 foot tall. Even old Lincoln on his horse, sitting on his horse going to Metamora to as a lawyer. Mm-hmm. It was still up over his head.
Right on.
So, and then across there, all them damn houses is over back here, down 91. All right, you get halfway down, it's level there on that side. That place still had prairie grass when my grandpa had the farm, and before my dad was born, and then he told my dad later, that was the last place you could go over there. Somebody owned it, but there was no buildings or nothing, so you go over there, it was the last place, and it was like 1901, it was the last place you could hunt prairie chickens. You go over there and walk in that tall grass to run them out.
What are prairie chickens?
Yeah.
Like what? But what are they? Are they
They are
just
birds.
feral chickens, or?
No, they call them chickens, but no, they've got stripes on them, not exactly like the striped chickens we got, but there was striped. And my dad, when he was a cowboy out west, out in Nebraska, hell, they went out every Sunday. They was off, a little bit. Of course, they're right on they had the bunkhouse and everything right on the ranch, but on Sunday afternoon or something, after cutting each other's hair or something, they'd go out and he said he had 3 get up and he shot 3 times, didn't hit a damn one. They teased him about it for weeks. And of course, he said I was the youngest, about 19. The rest of them older guys.
So this would have been about 1920?
Huh?
This
is back 1916, 17. But my dad was about 16, 17.
Right.
See, his stepmother, my grandfather's, married her. After his wife that lived in Kickapoo died, then he got married again to a woman, and she was from Canada, and she was a pain in the ass.
Was that Triggers or Caprins or who?
No, it was, her name was Wells. That was my grandpa's second wife.
Wow.
And, of course, he had my dad, because my dad's mother died when he was like 7 years old. So he went and lived in town for about a year for some reason. Probably couldn't stand being around it. Of course, we wasn't in this house because there was no house here. We was in the house that used to be on the corner down there.
When was this house built?
1912.
12?
Let me see. Yeah, 1912. So it's 101 years old. And, well, anyway, she was a bitch. She was a school teacher. And whined about everything my dad done, and when he got up around 16, he'd go to school, and then when he got out of school, he'd ask his dad if he could go up Minnesota and work for his uncle, which his name was Fox, and they're mingled in. In fact, Fox Road over here is named after that family, and then they moved up to Minnesota, Blue Earth, Minnesota. And so he'd go up there all summer, then come back and go to school. But, and he went like 9 grades. They had, in them days, instead of 8, you had 9 grades in the regular school. Right. Then high school was only like 3, That's the way they done it when my dad was little. And this schoolhouse is the one he went to and I went to and everything.
Which one is the one-room schoolhouse? Is it the one right on the corner, or is it?
Yeah, that one they've added all kinds of shit to it.
Well, I remember you.
10 windows. It had 10 windows that faced east, right in the road to get enough light in there.
Oh.
And then the front end was cloakroom, one for the girls and one for the boys. And you come in, here was a stove, and I got 20 cents a week for keeping the stove cleaned and wood there for it, or coal for it. We had coal for it. We had a little coal house, probably 10 by 12 or something like that. Just that west of the schoolhouse, right on the same ground.
Yeah.
And there used to be a whole bunch of trees on that west side, big old trees. And then there was a couple oak trees or something, I can't remember what they are. I think they were oak. About where the fence line is, where that guy's got his house.
Yeah.
That was there was a fence line there. And then you go down and right in the corner, you can still see it. There's a well, dug well there where we got water.
Right on.
And we was playing baseball. And one of the guys slid in a baseball diamond a little that way from the well. And he slid into first base, and it was kind of muddy, and he felt something kind of sticking him in the, or laying against his leg, reached down, pulling the damn arrowhead, perfect shape.
Right on. Right on.